Hello, this is Wmpyr. Okay, so for today, I want to share with you guys a concept which I think is very important because it will change the way you view martial arts. And the idea is very simple but difficult to apply. And what it is it's about fighting techniques and non-fighting techniques. Okay, so the main idea is it's not even about techniques, but it's about fighting and non-fighting. Okay. And when you look at martial arts, all the different techniques and stuff that's being taught today, they could fall into either one of those categories, the fighting techniques and the non-fighting, okay? And today, combat sports is extremely popular, especially because the UFC, MMA is so popular today. And what I want you guys to understand is all combat sports is for fighting, okay? Judo, Sambo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai kickboxing, boxing and wrestling, all of those are fighting styles, and the serious practitioners are fighters, okay? And the way that I'm defining fighting, the way that I am defining fighting here is when there is a struggle, okay? And that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for a massacre, and that's why they have weight classes. They're looking for a worthy opponent. They're looking for tough competition. So that you don't see a guy that's 260 pounds jacked and is a super athlete going up against a guy that's 120 pounds. We don't see that. Okay, if you want to see a massacre, do that and put them in a very confined cage, like a very small cage. Or give them weapons. It'll be even worse of a massacre. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is they're looking for someone that, is going to be at their level. And they put them up against each other. Why? Because now you're going to see a back and forth. A good fight. A good struggle. They both have to work hard to get their finish or to get the win. Whatever. They have to work big time. And that's why it turns into a bout of attrition many times. And many times, stamina is so important. How you manage your stamina, super important. All of those things become extremely important, So that's what they're looking for. They're fighters. They are the best fighters on the planet at what they do. All of those guys that do combat sports. Now, for me, I'm talking about self-defense. And I'm not a fighter, and I have trained in those styles because why? Because in a self-defense situation, a fight can happen. It may not, but it can. It can totally happen, okay? So an example of a fight happening in a self-defense situation is this guy's getting very aggressive with me. He shoves me, and then he starts punching at me. Okay, and then at that point, I'm defending myself, and I'm cornered. And to get out of the corner before I could run away or I could start calming him down, I need to fight out of there. And I have to defend, okay, and try to get out. Maybe I have to shove the guy. I have to kick him off of me. Not kick him to hurt him, but kick him to get some space, or whatever. And then if he grabs my leg, we end up on the ground. So then I need to know ground fighting in order to survive and get out of there. Once again, I got to fight my way out of there. It's become very nasty in that situation. There's a lot of brute physical force going on. So that's a fight situation in a self-defense situation, a fighting occurring in a self-defense situation. Okay, so that's a prime example. Another, let me give you a different example. So in the street, this guy, same thing, very aggressive, trying to corner me, I don't know what his problem is. So then at that point, maybe I take out a weapon. Maybe I take out a flashlight, flash him in the eyes, repeatedly. Okay, and he's like doing that. And then, I might have to swing a little bit and then get out. So right there was really not much of a physical altercation. There was not back and forth. There was no struggle. I just repeatedly flashed the guy in the eyes with my flashlight and maybe try to reach out to stop that. And maybe I just hit his hand away. So very minimal physical, exchange going on just to get it off. and I kept my distance, got out of there, no problem. Okay, so in that case, that's not really a fight. Okay, so it's like kind of like those guys that brag that they're 20-0 in bar fights, where the dude was drunk and just came up and was grabbing up on him or whatever, and then he just boom punched him, knocked him out. Is that a fight? The guy was barely conscious to begin with. To me, that's not a fight. A fight, once again, is that there is a struggle, physical struggle, back and forth. He's punching me, I'm punching him. I got to block some. He's blocking my shots. That's a fight. We're going back and forth, So I want you guys to understand the difference there. So once again, in a self-defense situation, okay, I want to take care of it without making it into a fight, if that makes sense. All right? I want to take care of it, because if I'm engaged in the fight with this guy, his partner could come in, or if I'm, repeatedly, using these kinds of fighting techniques, now assault and battery, I can get in trouble that way. Or as I'm doing this, I'm using fighting techniques, so I'm using textbook Muay Thai kickboxing, grabbing him in the Muay Thai clinch and stuff, and he pulls out a knife and stabs me. And now all of a sudden, I'm about to die or something. I'm in the hospital, ER, whatever. So, fighting is not what I'm looking for there. I really don't want to be using that as my main thing. As a backup, 100%, without a doubt. And to me, it is important. You need fighting skills, okay? But that's as the base, as the bottom base. And so on top of that, I would prefer to be using the non-fighting stuff, the non-fighting techniques, because that is more designed for self-defense. I want to use the right tools for the right situation. So in this situation, I would prefer that. Now, I know in the past I've said to you guys that in a street situation, you want to turn it into a fight, okay? By that, what I'm telling you guys is that if it's gonna turn into that, if it 100% is gonna become that. So like, for example, let's say you're surrounded by 5 guys, they're all armed, okay? And if I said to that one person, I said, hey man, you're the leader, why don't you go one-on-one with me, mano a mano, and if you can't do that in front of your cronies, you're weak. What kind of leader are you? You must be the weakest guy here, or whatever. And I'm able to change it into that. And so I go one-on-one with this guy. I'm making the situation best case for me. Now, if he does that and wins against me, that's also a good case for him, that he was able to take me out without weapons, so less of a crime for him, and also makes him look good too in front of his cronies. So it's a win-win, honestly, for both of us to do that. But once again, if I'm able to do, it's better than me going up against all 5 of them, weapons or without weapons. It would be much better. So in that type of situation, that's what I meant. Okay, but what I'm talking about here is a different kind of situation. So let's say this guy approaches me very aggressively, and I'm just minding my own business, walking on the street, and this has happened where I've been approached very aggressively. And so in that case, let's say this guy is showing me something, and he's like, hey, look at this. It's some kind of pamphlet or map, or I don't know what. He's trying to make me look at it, and I don't see really his right hand. And he's approaching very fast, and I'm like, whoa, 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 hold on. You're being way too aggressive. You got to calm down, bro. Chill out, man. I can't help you out. I'm busy. I'm in a rush. Sorry, dude. Or whatever. Okay. So I'm trying to create distance. I'm trying to be safe. Okay, I'm trying to diffuse the situation, de-escalate. This guy is not hearing it, super aggressive, is mad for some reason. I don't know this guy. He's trying to show me something, and I don't see his right hand. So at that point, once again, I decide I can't take any chances. If this guy has a gun already in his right hand, I'm dead. So let me just take him out. So boom, I sucker punch the guy. Okay, I make that first move, and I knock him out. Okay. It's not a fight. I used a fighting technique. And that wasn't a fight. So that good for me in that case. Okay. I don't want to get in trouble for that, but I'm just saying, in that case, I felt in my gut instinct that I was in imminent danger, that this could be life-threatening. So I had to be preemptive. Okay. So that's a situation. So that's one situation. So I did not fight the guy, if that makes sense. I didn't want to fight the guy. Okay. So another situation is I go, I start cussing him out, right? And now we're chest to chest. Okay. And I said, I don't know what your problem is. I don't know you. You don't talk to me. You don't get close to me, And now it turns into a fight. So now we're exchanging punches, shoving each other, right? That's a fight. And that's what I don't want, okay? The other situation, okay, but in that situation, if I know any combat sports, that's going to help me out, okay? It could definitely help me out. I'm not saying it's going to solve the problem, because if he had a gun, if he had a knife, I could die right there, even if I use combat sports. But if he didn't, and I use combat sports, that would definitely give me an advantage, for sure. Okay, so combat sports is good, okay? You just have to understand its limitations. I'm not saying don't do combat sports. I'm just saying, I am saying 100% it can benefit. So you should have combat sports background. I still practice it today because I believe in the effectiveness of combat sports. But, like I said, if the guy had a gun or a knife or his buddy came in, I'm gone, right? So in this situation here, same situation. This time, I don't see his right hand, so I'm going to go ahead and try to put myself in a position where I can see and control his right hand. Okay, so that is a non-fighting. I'm not punching him. I'm not, trying to throw him or take him down. No. But now I might have to move his hand or push his shoulder or whatever, or get in a little bit in the clinch. But it's not a fight at that point. I'm not clinching the guy as like a wrestler. I just like bump into him a little bit and go, whoa, hey bro, chill out. But my real purpose is to see what's up with the right hand. So that is a non-fighting move that I'm making. Okay, and that's what I do want. I want that. Okay. Now, another situation is, let's say he approaches me the same way, and I didn't control the distance, and he's mad at me for some reason and showing me this map, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and then, boom, he swings at me. Okay, it's a sucker punch. So at that point, I see it coming, so I use the Heaven 6, boom, 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 to block and get in close, okay, to control the arm and whatever. Now that right there is, believe it or not, that's a fighting technique. Okay, over many years, I modified the Heaven 6 so that it could be used in full contact, so that it could be used in Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, or MMA. Okay, so that is what that's for. And that is for fighting, because I said all of those combat sports styles are fighting styles. And so, boom, he sucker punches me, and I block, boom, right here. We block the same way with double sticks right here. I'm blocking, boom, into Heaven 6 to close the distance, to come in, right? And I teach that to my students to this day, and we practice that using focus mitts, using gloves. We throw haymakers at each other. We charge, rush at each other, and we practice doing that using the Heaven 6 and much more compact, raising the elbows and stuff. And we do that, okay? But that is a fighting technique, right? Why is it a fighting technique? Because there's an exchange going on, okay? And it is struggle versus struggle. Now, imagine the same situation, exact same situation, but instead of sucker punching me, he pulls out a knife, and that's a knife attack that he's doing. Same angle as the haymaker, but he has a knife. So if I did this, my arms would get cut up. And because I'm not controlling that arm, afterwards he could now, wherever he wants, stab me, cut me in the stomach, in the head area, neck area, legs, I'm done for. Okay, I'm in a very, very bad situation. So that's why I tell you guys, using the Heaven Six that way is a fighting technique. And in the street, in self-defense, I'm looking for the non-fighting techniques. Okay, and by non-fighting, it sounds like I'm just not going to fight. They are still for combat. Okay, these techniques that I'm talking about is still for combat, but it's designed for a self-defense situation. A fighting involves it's empty hand, it's one-on-one, and once again, it involves an exchange. You can't really exchange in the street. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Please play around with that thought. Okay, if you can't exchange with the opponent, you can't block with the opponent. You know, this doesn't fly. In kickboxing, in MMA, and all that, in boxing, you can do this. In the street, you do that, your arms are cut up. You're going to get stabbed. You're going to get cut. With a baseball bat, your bones, arms, the bones will be broken. Okay, so you have to understand that there's a difference. So when you're allowed to do this, now you could do a lot more. You could do so much more. But when you can't do that, when you take that away, okay, that's where I'm interested in. So just want to make that difference for you guys. There's still lots of ways that you can fight back. Lots of ways you can fight out of the situation to run away. There's still combat techniques, but I'm interested in the non-fighting combat techniques. Okay, so please play around with that thought. That's it for now. Thank you for listening, and take care, folks.